It's wild how quickly things move online.
Oh,
One
definitely.
minute you're seeing one thing, the next, it's a completely different trend.
Yeah.
Staying on top of what actually matters can feel like, well, a full-time job.
It really can.
So for this deep dive, we've done some of the heavy lifting for you. We're diving into Snap Inc.'s first quarter 2025 financial results.
Yeah. And importantly, we're not just looking at their numbers in a vacuum.
Exactly. We'll be putting them side by side with some of the other major players to really understand Snapchat's current standing.
Think of this as your shortcut to understanding what's truly significant in these reports. Our goal is to cut through all that financial noise.
Get to the core insights.
Right. Get to the core insights about Snapchat's performance and maybe where they might be heading. And for anyone creating content, this is, crucial context.
Crucial for making informed decisions about where to focus their energy. And to get the full picture, we're primarily using Snap's official Q1 2025 report, but we're also bringing in data and analysis from, well, the broader social media and advertising worlds.
Good plan. Gives us that wider perspective.
Okay, let's unpack this. First things first. What did Snapchat's own report tell us about how their business actually performed in the first 3 months of 2025?
Okay, so the headline here is definitely growth. Snap reported revenue of $90.234 million for Q1 2025.
$90 million. How does that compare to last year?
Well, it's up 12% from the $80.539 million they brought in during the same period last year.
12% growth, okay.
And interestingly, if you factor out currency fluctuations, you know how that can skew things, that growth was actually a bit higher at 14%.
Oh, interesting. So even stronger underlying growth.
Yeah. So despite, all the competition out there, they're still moving in a positive direction on the revenue front.
Growth is definitely a key indicator. Now, what about the size of their community? Daily active users, DAUs, that's always a number people watch closely.
Right, the DAUs. They also saw a healthy increase there. Snapchat reached 453 million daily active users in Q1 2025.
453 million. Wow.
Yeah, and that's a solid 9% jump compared to the first quarter of 2024. Shows they're continuing to expand their user base globally.
Okay, so more people are using Snapchat daily. That's one piece of the puzzle. But what about how much revenue they're generating from each of those users?
ARPU, average revenue per user.
Exactly. What can we infer about ARPU from this report?
Well, the specific ARPU figure for this quarter wasn't directly stated in the info we have, but we can make a pretty educated guess.
Go on.
With revenue growing at 12% and daily active users increasing by 9%, well, it suggests that on average, Snapchat is generating slightly more revenue per user compared to a year ago.
Because the revenue growth is outpacing the user growth.
Exactly. Which is generally seen as a positive sign.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting for me. Beyond these overall numbers, the report highlighted some specific areas where they saw significant traction. Augmented reality AR seems to be a real engine for them.
Oh, absolutely. They're seeing some really impressive momentum with their AR tools, their AI-powered Easy Lens creation tool.
Yeah.
Still in early testing, apparently, but it's already been used to create over 10,000 lenses.
10,000, just from an early test tool.
Yep. And get this, those lenses have generated a massive 2 billion impressions.
2 billion impressions.
Yeah. That early engagement, it really signals a potential democratization of AR content creation, lowering the barrier to entry.
Which could lead to a richer ecosystem of user-generated AR stuff. That's a key differentiator for Snap, isn't it?
Definitely.
2 billion impressions already, that's huge. And it sounds like creators are really diving into their Lens Studio platform as well.
They are. Lens Studio downloads more than doubled year over year in Q1.
Doubled.
And they hit a record high for monthly active users on that platform, too. Plus, to kind of encourage innovation, they've introduced these things called challenge tags.
Challenge tags, what do they do?
They basically incentivize developers to create new and engaging lenses. Could really fuel even more growth in their AR ecosystem.
It wasn't just about making new AR experiences, though, was it?
Yeah.
They're also working on making those experiences even better.
Yeah.
Right? Improving the tech.
Exactly. They're kind of laying the groundwork for the future. They mentioned the development of the next generation AR operating system for their Spectacles hardware.
Spectacles. So they're still committed to the hardware side of AR.
Seems like it. It shows a long-term vision for augmented reality as a core part of their offerings. And they've also enhanced their platform capabilities using GPS, compass data, custom locations for more immersive location-based AR.
Right, like AR tied to specific places.
Yeah, and we saw examples like the basketball trainer lens, which uses Snap ML for real-time score tracking,
Cool.
and Niantic's Peridot integration, bringing multiplayer AR into the real world.
Like Pokemon Go, but integrated with Snap.
Something like that, yeah. Even playful stuff like Wabi Sabi Games' dog walking lens that uses AI to recognize your dog and gamify your walk.
Huh. Okay, that's creative.
It highlights a breadth of possibilities, right? And then there are the more fundamental improvements, like to the keyboard and new hand tracking capabilities, all contributing to richer user interactions.
And the music lyrics feature seems like a smart move, too. Blending popular music with their visual focus.
It is, by linking community-created lenses with their big music libraries, visualizing lyrics, well, it can make songs more engaging.
And probably drive even more interaction with lenses, I'd guess.
Very likely. And they're highlighting collaborations with big artists like Bruno Mars and Rosé, so they're tapping into popular culture.
What about their subscription service, Snapchat Plus Mulling? Did the report give us any insights into how that's performing financially?
Well, specific Q1 2025 revenue figures for Snapchat Plus weren't in the excerpts we have right now.
Ah,
But
okay.
we do know from a previous report that it brings in around $500 million annually.
$500 million a year. That's not insignificant.
Not at all. It suggests it's becoming a significant and growing revenue stream for them, shows users are willing to pay for exclusive features.
Okay, so let's recap Snapchat's Q1 quickly.
Uh-huh.
We're seeing growth in users, growth in revenue.
Yep.
Significant momentum in their AR platform, both creation and engagement.
Definitely.
And a subscription service that's gaining traction.
Okay.
Now, let's shift our focus a bit. What does this report tell us about where Snapchat is heading strategically? What are their key areas of investment and focus?
Well, the emphasis in the report strongly suggests that augmented reality is absolutely central to their strategic direction.
No surprise there, really.
Not really, no. But the ongoing development of that next-gen AR operating system for spectacles, that's a pretty clear signal of their long-term commitment. They see AR as a fundamental.
Not just a gimmick.
Exactly. And all the advancements we're seeing in lens creation tools, location-based AR, game integrations, it all reinforces this core strategy.
Did they give any specific hints about their plans for the near future? Perhaps their outlook for Q2 2025?
The press release indicates that Snap Inc. will be discussing their Q2 2025 outlook during their upcoming earnings call and in their investor letter.
Which we don't have yet.
Right. Those details weren't included in the materials we have access to right now, so that's something we'll need to look out for separately.
Okay. But based on their Q1 performance and the areas they've highlighted, can we maybe infer some potential strategic directions they might be taking?
I think we absolutely can. The strong push into AR indicates that Snapchat sees this as not just a feature, but a key differentiator, a major driver of future growth.
So expect more AR innovation.
Definitely. We can anticipate continued innovation in both the tools for creators and the experiences for users, and the focus on integrating with entertainment content like the music lyrics feature.
Yeah.
That also suggests an effort to broaden user engagement, keep people on the app longer, maybe.
Makes sense.
And with the continued growth of Snapchat Plus, we might see them introduce more exclusive features to further incentivize subscriptions.
Right. Keep that revenue stream growing.
Overall, it really appears they're doubling down on their strengths, visual communication and augmented reality, trying to carve out their unique space in the whole social media landscape.
Okay, so Snapchat is painting this picture of growth, fueled by AR innovation. But to truly understand their position, we really need to zoom out and look at the broader context.
Yeah.
How does Snapchat's progress compare to some of the other major platforms out there?
Yeah, this comparative view is essential for perspective, isn't it? Let's look at Meta first.
The giant.
The giant. Their full year 2024 revenue reached a massive $164.5 billion.
Billion. With a B.
With a B. And they saw a 5% increase in daily active users across their whole family of apps, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Threads reaching 3.3 billion by the end of last year.
3.3 billion daily users across their apps. That scale is just hard to grasp.
It really is. And for Q1 2025, Meta projected a revenue range of $39.5 to $41.8 billion.
For 1 quarter.
For 1 quarter, suggesting an 15% year-over-year growth. So in terms of sheer scale, Users and revenue, Meta is significantly larger than Snapchat, though their growth rates seem somewhat similar percentage-wise.
Okay, what about the dominant force in video, YouTube, under Alphabet?
Right, Alphabet. Their Q1 2025 results show a total revenue of $90.234 billion.
Also huge. Same as Snap's annual revenue almost, but in a quarter for Alphabet overall.
Exactly. And their Google Services division, which includes YouTube, brought in $77.264 billion of that.
Wow.
Now, this report doesn't break out YouTube's exact revenue, but we know it's substantial. And interestingly, Nielsen data from February 2025 showed YouTube leading all media companies in share of time spent viewing 11.6%.
More than Disney, more than Netflix.
Yeah, surpassing traditional giants like Disney and Netflix, at least in that February snapshot. There's even speculation that YouTube could potentially overtake Disney as the world's largest media company.
That's a big claim.
It is. But Alphabet's overall revenue grew by 12% year-over-year in Q1 2025, which actually matches Snapchat's reported growth rate.
Interesting parallel.
Yeah. Specifically, Google's advertising revenue was $66.885 billion, and their subscriptions, platforms, and devices generated another $10.379 billion.
Okay, and then there's TikTok, the disruptor that's had such a huge impact, especially with short-form video. How does Snapchat stack up against its rapid rise?
Yeah, TikTok's revenue trajectory is quite striking. Their global ad revenue is projected to reach $33.1 billion in 2025.
$33 billion.
Which is a significant 40.5% increase from the estimated $23.6 billion they generated in 2024.
40% growth, that's massive.
It is. And while direct daily active user comparisons with Snapchat aren't readily available in these sources, their overall user base is enormous, projected to hit 2.35 billion by 2029.
The scale again.
Right. The substantial growth in TikTok's ad revenue and the high levels of user engagement really underscore its powerful position. Of course, there's the elephant in the room.
The potential U.S. ban.
Exactly. That could potentially shift ad revenue towards platforms like Meta and Google. But it's worth noting that a significant number of U.S. businesses, millions apparently, are currently using TikTok for marketing and sales.
So a ban would have major ripple effects.
Huge effects, yeah.
We've also seen some broader trends in how people are using social media generally. What are some of the overarching stats that help us understand this landscape?
Well, we're seeing a pretty significant trend of consumers using social media for product research. Something like 82% engage in this way.
82%. So people are actively looking for product info on social.
Seems so. And short-form video platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels are particularly popular for product discovery, especially among Gen Z.
That makes sense. Fits the format.
And the social commerce market itself is booming, estimated to reach $104 billion in the U.S. alone in 2025, shows that increasing integration of shopping within the platforms.
Buy buttons everywhere.
Pretty much.
And what about the advertising landscape itself? How are ad costs and strategies evolving across these different platforms?
Overall, media inflation is expected to be, moderate in 2025. But social media ad costs specifically, they're projected to increase year over year.
So getting more expensive to advertise on social.
Generally, yes. eMarketer forecasts a rise in CPMs, that's cost per 1,000 impressions, across Meta, TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube.
And who's seeing the biggest jump?
Potentially TikTok, interestingly enough, though it's worth noting there's quite a bit of volatility around TikTok's CPM because of that uncertainty surrounding a potential U.S. ban.
Right, the ban could really shake things up.
It could. If it happens, we might see a redistribution of ad spending, maybe spikes in CPMs on other platforms as advertisers shift budgets. But despite all that uncertainty, TikTok has so far maintained a significant portion of its user traffic.
Okay, so when we put it all together, we see Snapchat with steady user and revenue growth, heavily invested in this innovative AR future.
Right.
They're navigating a competitive landscape dominated by giants like Meta and Google, and alongside the disruptive force of TikTok.
A tough neighborhood.
Definitely. Which naturally leads to a crucial question for content creators. Based on all this data, should they be prioritizing Snapchat, or should they be focusing their efforts elsewhere?
That really is the key question for anyone looking to build an audience or a business online, isn't it? And the data suggests that Snapchat definitely offers some unique advantages.
Like what specifically?
Particularly its strong connection with the Gen Z demographic. If a creator's target audience aligns with this younger group, Snapchat's high engagement with visual and interactive formats lenses, short-form video could be a really significant asset.
And we saw that stat about Gen Z discovering products through short-form video.
Exactly. A large percentage prefer discovering products that way. Snapchat fits right into that.
But when we consider the sheer user numbers on platforms like TikTok and Instagram, don't those offer a more immediate and potentially larger reach for creators?
That's the trade-off, yeah.
We know Instagram, for example, has a really well-established creator ecosystem with significant reach rates.
They absolutely do offer significantly larger user bases, which, naturally, translates to a broader potential reach. TikTok's massive engagement and rapid growth combined with Instagram's more mature creator economy.
And the fact that users actively follow brands there.
Right. A high percentage follow or research brands on Instagram, both platforms present considerable opportunities for monetization.
And how does Snapchat compare on the monetization front right now?
Well, Snapchat's advertising revenue is growing, and their Snapchat Plus subscription model offers another potential avenue for creator monetization, maybe through exclusive content. But their overall market share and ad revenue is currently smaller compared to Meta, Google, YouTube, and even TikTok.
So the earning potential might be lower overall, at least for now.
It could impact the overall earning potential for creators on the platform right now, yes, compared to the scale of the others.
So for creators trying to decide where to focus, is Snapchat a primary platform, a supplementary one, or what's the verdict based on this analysis?
I think it really boils down to a strategic decision. It depends heavily on their specific niche, their target audience, and their content format.
So no single right answer.
Definitely not. For creators specifically targeting Gen Z with highly visual interactive content, especially using AR Snapchat, should certainly be a serious contender, maybe even a priority.
Because it offers unique creative tools.
Exactly. Creative possibilities that aren't as prevalent elsewhere. However, for creators seeking the broadest possible reach and perhaps more established or diverse monetization options right now, platforms like TikTok and Instagram might offer more immediate or substantial opportunities at this moment.
So maybe a multi-platform approach is best.
That's likely the most effective strategy for many. Tailor the content to the strengths of each platform. Snapchat offers a valuable, unique space, no doubt, but creators need to weigh its specific advantages against the scale and the established monetization avenues of the other big players.
Okay, we've taken a really comprehensive look into Snapchat's first quarter of 2025 and how it fits into the larger social media picture. What are the key takeaways you think our listeners should remember from this deep dive?
Okay, three main things, I think. Firstly, Snapchat is demonstrating continued growth users and revenue, and their big bet on augmented reality is clearly generating engagement. That AR stuff is working.
Got it. Growth and AR momentum.
Secondly, while they operate in a market dominated by much larger players, their strong appeal to Gen Z and their innovative visual formats give them a distinct, valuable position. They have a niche.
Okay, unique position with Gen Z.
And finally, for you creators listening, Snapchat presents a valuable opportunity to connect with Gen Z, especially through engaging AR experiences. But its potential should be considered alongside the broader reach and monetization options available on platforms like TikTok and Instagram. It's about balance.
A balanced perspective is key. We definitely uncovered some fascinating insights, I thought, particularly the rapid adoption of that Easy Lens creation tool and just the sheer scale of AR lens impressions.
2 billion, yeah.
It really underscores the power of their innovation in that space. So as you, the listener, reflect on this, maybe consider how these trends might shape your own understanding of the social media world. Whether you're a creator strategizing your next move or just someone interested in the dynamics of our digital lives.
Absolutely. And here's maybe a final thought to chew on. Given how fast everything evolves in social media and the potential for significant shifts like the ongoing discussions around a possible TikTok ban in the US.
Right, that potential disruption.
How might Snapchat further adapt its strategy? Could they leverage these potential changes to capitalize on emerging opportunities? Could they strengthen their position in the future interplay of these different platforms?
Interesting question. How they might play the long game.
Exactly. It's certainly a dynamic situation and definitely worth watching closely.